Go live. Okay, here we go. Happy Friday. It's Friday again. This morning's coffee is brought to you by Creed and Selbridge. You can find them online and go buy some of their coffee. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. I just like coffee. How's everybody doing today? Busy week. Busy week this week. Trying to figure out more social media stuff, which I'm not good at. It's easy when you're talking about music and stuff, but hard just talk about random things in your day that you just feel are kind of irrelevant. Anyway, what are we doing this morning? We're looking at the sounds of Severance because the season 2 finale is on tonight. Well, it's on at the moment, streaming on, not sponsored again. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. I don't know what happens. I'm all up to date except for the last episode. So I thought we'd have a little look at some of the stuff going on in the main title theme, which is a big hit. Theodore Shapiro. Quality. Really, really good. A little bit of a twist on it though. I'm not going to talk too much about what's going on in the harmony, although it's really cool. Really nice. Which is like kind of C minor. This would be like an F sharp dominant, F, A flat minor, all over a pedal note of C. So you get some funky dissonance, which is cool. Like that especially, yeah. Really cool. But what I wanted to look at, there's a couple of parts in the production that I want to borrow and do a little bit of composing with. That's kind of what I'm looking to do. So there are two parts specifically that I want to have a look at. And one comes at the very end. And play it here for you on Spotify. Spotify's not my favorite thing, but this is the world we live in now. Just this final part. So this bit. That's so cool, right? So I'm going to just close that off. So it's that whatever's doing that, pretty cool. And I wanted to take that sound to try and recreate it, and then try and do some composition with it. And there's also a bass line that has this glide, an octave glide in it, that I want to use as well. So I'll see if I can find a sample of it here. So there's our mid. So it's like doom, boom, boom, doom, which I want to borrow as well. So I want to see if I can kind of come close to recreating those sounds and also use them as a little parts of composition that I can take later. I'm a big believer in that when you're writing music, to take your influences and take out some of the parts that you really like of your influences and You know, it depends on how obvious you want to be. Lift them. Steal Like an Artist, Austin Kleon's book is excellent if anybody's looking to read something. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now and jump into Logic. Logic, my DAW of choice. So this is the piano. And how I'm going to start this is I want an audio note. So I'm going to pick a different key. This one's in C minor. So I want to kind of steer away from being in the same key, but I'm going to be kind of key adjacent maybe and just move it up a minor third. So E flat. And it's the minor third that we're looking for. That's the kind of sound we're going for. So I wonder, can I just convert this to audio or will I need to export it? We'll see. So I'm just going to record in. All right. And convert to region as an audio file. Will this work? Yeah, I'll have to send it out and bring it back in again. So I'm just going to put on my face again, because I'm always a bit wary of sharing my desktop on live streams, which is probably not the best idea in the world. So yeah, I'm going to put it here, just on desktop for expediency. And then I am going to open up an audio channel. Doesn't matter what input it is. I'm going to be importing my MIDI as audio. So all I've done there is created a MIDI note of G flat, because we're in E flat minor. And I'll see if I can find it. These things are never easy to find. Here we go. And I will turn this on again. Hello. So feel free to jump on the chat and say hello and make sure you can hear me okay and all that kind of stuff. So here's our note. So it's the same thing twice. So far, so boring. So with this, I'm going to reverse the note. So you come in here to your region, click on reverse, and then instead of it playing forward, it now plays backwards. I don't need the MIDI piano, so. So that's our first kind of go at it. I am also going to, well, I might try and beef it up a little bit in a few minutes. So let's have a look at the waveform here and see where the notes are. Actually, yeah. So I kind of want to slice it on the bop, 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 bop. So every time the wave kind of dips in and out, that's where I want to slice it up. So I don't know if there's a quick version to do this on Logic. Maybe there is, like super fast audio editing. Yeah, but there's loads there to catch. So it's really the space in between where the waveform goes. So here's one. This is going to be so much fun to watch. This is me cutting up bits of audio. But hopefully it will make a cool sound. That's the goal. But we can talk about other stuff in the meantime while I'm doing this. if anybody knows a quick way to actually do this, that would be helpful. That's as big as I can get it, I think. Yeah, there's the one. Maybe we'll just do the big parts of the waveform. Yeah, okay, we'll just do it here. Oops, I don't want fades. This is quite finicky, actually. Somebody's going to be looking at this going, there is such a quicker way of doing this. And here, yeah, this is where the waveform really starts to get funky. Whoops. Why did it not do that? I've been using Final Cut a lot lately, and that's some of the shortcuts are different. Yeah, the waveform keeps changing when I click on it. That's crazy. Probably an easier way of doing this might be to get a slicer and slice it. Because the edits are so small, maybe a slicer will work. Okay, hang on. Let me try that instead. This, you know, it's trial and error. You're trying to recreate these sounds. Come on. That's just going to do a fade, isn't it? Yeah, this is just too finicky. Let's put it back together. And so let's try a slicer instead and see if there's one we can find. So I don't know if Logic has one of these. Did I ever notice when you write in the search bar in Apple stuff, it never finds the thing you're looking for? So maybe a trem, not quite what we're looking for. A delay might do it. Filter perhaps. We don't want the whole waveform here. This is just going to be me playing with Logic, isn't it? Maybe a really hardcore. I do like this. It kind of feels like detective work, and it's so kind of such a strange part of composition is searching down sounds. But I think the more you really try and find your own sounds that are really kind of yours specifically, you can take them and you can use them, and it gets you away from living in kind of stock preset land as well, which is, there's nothing wrong with soft or with presets. I said soft because I was reading what I was looking at and I was speaking, trying to say something else. This is the fun times of when you're live streaming. Let's try deep tremolo. That's kind of close, isn't it? Let's have a little listen to see. So obviously it's going to get louder and there's a little bit of distortion on it. But just for the choppy in and out, so I want it really severe. So the waveform to be like. Yeah, maybe the exact same. So even if I don't get it exactly bang on, the overall intention is what I'm looking for. And if it gets me something slightly different, that's even better, because it doesn't mean that I lifted it straight up. So, what's the... I didn't even look at tempo, really. That's kind of cool, though. I'm kind of liking that. So it's not the exact same, which is kind of the point as well. And it has feedback on it as well. So let's try and get some feedback going here. Some distortion. Hard to know, isn't it? Oh, noise gate could do it as well. Anyway. And maybe pitch gate. There's going to be a lot of stuff on this, I think, in the end. And we also want some gain. Now we could have a preamp gain, or it could have a distortion gain. Being a guitar player, I like to put on guitar stuff. So maybe like a tube kind of a gain. It's kind of sounding to me a little bit like The Who now, which is another thing I quite like about using sounds as a springboard to get you into other sounds. It's not the exact same sound that we're going for. That's not the point. The point is to take something that sounds like the sound you're going for, or it sparks a new sound that you can use. So I suppose I mistitled the thumbnail there, The Sounds of Severance. It should be inspired by some sounds from Severance. That sounds like a lot of S's there. Let's go back to the original sound, see where... That's not what we want. Yeah, it really gets loud there, doesn't it? And That's kind of cool though too. Hard panning, very cool. Or maybe something like this. It's probably a bit closer, isn't it? If I'm honest. And it's a bit more intense. I think the depth. Which is quite cool. I'm going to give it a little bit more gain though, because I want some more kind of high end in there. So, anybody join us yet? You know, come along, say hi. If you've just joined us, we're using some of the sounds from the main theme of Severance to create some sounds of our own and put them into a composition, or put them into some textures or things that you can use in your own compositions. I'm using Logic. I'm currently kind of hunting a similar sound to the very final sound in the main theme, which is this very fast feedback sound. I hope you can hear that now, or else it just looks like me shaking my head, because I don't know how you can share things on YouTube that are copyrighted like that. I don't know, maybe grey area. Yeah, I think the tremolo still needs to be a little bit more extreme. It's pretty close. Pretty close. I changed key and stuff as well, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Obviously as well, there's a bit of an automated lift in it. And there's also more of a high-endy feedback thing. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the feedback in there as well. Which I don't know off the top of my head how to get feedback on audio in Logic. Any suggestions? And distortion, dynamics. I assume if you push the signal. Correct me if I'm wrong here. This is unusual for me. So I pitched it up to give it a kind of a higher pitch of sound. Something that's always helpful is to duplicate it. And the secondary one can be one that's up an octave. I also want to add in a synth on this as well, because this is my overall sound. I'm kind of liking that though. I have to admit, I'm kind of digging it. And okay, so it's close. It's not exactly the same, but it's, you know, it's not a bad little effort, and definitely is something. Definitely something that I will throw into compositions later. I just think it's such a cool opening sequence. And yeah, what I'm also going to do is I get a new plugin, and the new plugin is a bit of a cool one. It is, again, from the Crow Hill company, and it's not there. It is actually MIDI effect. Here we go. It's key switcher. So it allows you to add effects through a sidechain, through using a keyboard. So here's a so I'm just going to play I'm just going to play the E flat just to kind of line it up. I'm just going to build on this sound a little bit. So it's not doing a whole lot on its own. It's just a ES2 here. But that's not really what I'm more looking for, an effect than an overall sound. So here I'm just going to play through this a few times and see what we got. Distortion, delays, durez, whatever that is, delay trip. And my tremolo has been set to a 16 note delay. So let's, yeah, that looks about right. So we have freeze, beat, repeat. This might work. So let's have a listen. And as always, I pressed record in the wrong thing. Which happens to me all the time. Beat, repeat. Yeah. Why is that happening again? So there we got a little bit of glitch and a little bit of this is not firing on time. Anyone out there know how to trigger MIDI in the middle of a MIDI note? I know there's a way to do it, but this is not. Oh yes, because I've soloed it. That's why. And because this MIDI note is not firing at the same time either. Okay, so I'm liking that little bit at the end there. So I'm just going to open up my MIDI and leave on the glitch. So if you're unsure of what is happening here, it's just kind of messing around really. Pretty cool. I'm liking that. Okay, I'm going to turn off that note coming in. Until maybe here, just for fun. Let's say here. So that ES2 is fine, but maybe we can make it a kind of a cooler sound. So we come into, what do I want? I want these guys. And maybe the Morphin synth. This might sound a little better. Bit too much there. So I want this as a pad and not quite as intense as a lead, kind of a synth lead. So let's have a look through some of these. That's kind of cool. Okay, and right, so that's enough of that. There's our kind of textural sound. And the next thing I wanted to look at is this kind of gliding bass. And it's around here, I think. So it's like doom, doom, and it's that slide, that glide that I'm really looking for. So, because we're in E flat, I'm going to go on the mini moog here, and it's our glide we're looking for. But I don't want it as harsh an attack. I want it soft, like a softer sound. So let's get into the basses here. So again, if you're listening to this on speakers on your phone or on a computer, you're probably not going to hear this bass very well. So you just hear me kind of rocking out with the sound of clicking keys. But if you have headphones on, you should hear it. It's being pretty cool. So let's turn on our glide. Let's put it on full. It's a bit too slow, isn't it? So it's boom. kind of close. Let's hear the sound again. It's a very, very swift descent. Whoops. Now, Kraftwerk. Oh, that's close. Let's see how we do on tempo. I have no idea what tempo this is going to be. Oh, that's because I don't have the metronome turned on. And I don't have this set to record either. Always arm your tracks or disarm your tracks. So we have this. That's it. So I got it in time kind of around here, really, didn't I? Obviously not. Should be just there. So that's all I need. That's all I want. This one. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so we've got our kind of main kind of building blocks. This is what's going to make our track, really, is this kind of up and down bass and this weird so we probably can't make a whole song out of just that little noise. And I don't really want to copy the piano part because it's so iconic, and whatever about taking elements of something to use for yourself, I think if you're very overtly stealing, it just comes across that way, that you're like overtly stealing. And you know, that would be bad. So let's get some drums. Let's have a listen to what the drums are actually doing here. I don't think there's much drums in this. So we've got like a pop, and kind of got a kind of have like a percussion-y thing going on. And I won't use the Cosmos. But I might use something else. This might be fun. And this is only because I got a new plugin, another new plugin. I am liking that kick though. Wherever it is. Still on the Moog here. So I shall demoog. Yeah, something like that. So now you really show up my drum programming ability. I'd like that. Yeah. So boom. Something similar to that. Boom ga boom boom ga. See how it is when you're like really, really bad at drum programming. So it's all on display here. This is the exciting times that come from live streaming. Live streaming your thoughts in real time. But the good news is MIDI is very, very, very forgiving. So you can come along and you can fix everything. And I'm going to fix everything right now. And that's whenever I played it actually right. I just want to hear the drums on its own because it's that glide. That glide is throwing me off because it's kind of boom. Well, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so that's nothing. So it's got too much of a swing, really. So I need to get rid of that swing. So all of my hi-hats are going to go, and I'm just going to focus on the kick, which is and this should line up nicely with the bass. If I came in on the right, yeah. So this is what I want to take. So this is probably a long-winded way of doing things. I'm hoping to get quicker at drum programming in general because I find I'm quite slow at it. And I don't want the swing. I want the J Dilla style. So I am going to go on to yeah. think that should line up a little bit better. No, didn't line up at all. But I know what I'm looking for. Dun, ga, boom, boom. Dun, ga, da, ga. Pretty simple. That's all I'm looking for. I know all the people laughing at me going, oh, you're so bad at drum programming. Well, you know, I am, and I take full ownership of this fact. This is where, this is where the kick should be. So maybe my synth is out of time as well. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, I hope you've made it this far in the live stream and you're like, yes, this is what I was waiting for. This is the gold dust. This is the stuff that I really want to check out. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a bar. Anyway, long story short, anyone know any jokes? Because I have loads of jokes. I just don't know any off the top of my head at the moment when I'm trying to, you know. So, where does that second beat go? Boom, ga, do da da. Is it on E? Not quite. Da 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 da. Is this pushed? Is that so? I'm hearing the rhythm in my head and I just can't figure out exactly where this glide is going to be. Yes, that's it, isn't it? Dun, ga, dun, dun. The hit on the 2, the Springsteen hit, as I like to call it. Whenever you skip the 1 and land on beat 2, it feels like a Bruce Springsteen song. Boom, 2, 3, 4, boom, bam. But it's not quite there. It's on the E, isn't it? Da-dum-bum. It's the glide. Is the glide into the 1? Is that what it is? That's what's throwing me off. It's the glide. Boom, boom. Yeah, okay. It's close enough. Pretty close. And then let's see how close you are. Let's just do this again because it'll be more fun. It's ba-bam. Ba-bam. Eraser MIDI. Of the people who can do this really, really quickly, and it's like just comes out of them. And you know, for me, drum programming is my Achilles heel. And let's try that again. And that is all over the shop. Why is this so far apart? Okay. Yeah, it's fucking glide. It would sound like a great idea. Kick, that kick should be there. There we go. Da-dum-dum. This should be the exact same as this. I want them to land together. And this should be the exact same as this. And this should be on the 3. There we go. It's all fun and games. What's a live stream without some drama? Let's see if it works. Not really. Not especially so. Because that's kind of tying over, isn't it? Like that. And where are you tying over now? Aha, there you go. Look at that. Sometimes MIDI editing can be really fun, and sometimes it can be just a total head melt, like today. So there's something not right with that kick and the glidey part. I'm liking it, but it's the glide up to the next one. The kick is not quite hitting. I'm liking the snares punching through. And I also want to do in this very last thing, I suppose we're up here. And we're just going to draw in some close hi-hats. So one E and a. So we have this. Yeah, maybe 16ths is too much. I know it's a faster tempo than what we had on the Severance thing. One E and a. So one E and a. So we might ditch that and do 8th notes instead. Just to make it, give it the appearance of a little bit slower. It'll sound very metronomic though, that's the only thing. Yeah, it's there. I'm not quite in, it's not quite sticking with this. So So I think I need another kick pattern to get out of the way of that glide. So it's not do, if that makes sense. So my Springsteen idea is going to go. Dum. Maybe just if I move it over by like 1. So instead of trying to catch that, it comes after. That could work, maybe. That's kind of cool. Make it a bit more interesting. Da-dum. That could be cool. Yeah. Da-dum. Anyway, I digress. So, a couple of things. We got our glidey synth. We got our weird tremolo-y sound. And makes for a nice kind of hip-hop kind of sound, which is quite cool, I think. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for Coffee and Composing Friday. If you're going to check out the last episode of Severance, I guarantee you'll pay even extra more attention to the opening credits, especially that last section when it has that cool sound. And yeah, the moral of the story here is to, when you hear kind of cool things in music, or when you hear cool things and themes that you like or stuff, try and have a go at recreating it. And even if you don't hit exactly what it is, it usually sparks some sort of cool sound that you can use in your arsenal for later on. And spend the time kind of messing around now, and then when it's time to throw it into an actual composition later on, you go, I'm going to do that Severance thing, or I'm going to try and do that drum beat thing a lot quicker than you saw me do it in the last few minutes. But yeah, have a great weekend. Enjoy Severance if you're watching it today, and no spoilers. And we'll be back. I'll be back next week with some more kind of random ideas of coffee and composing. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. I keep forgetting that. I should probably open with that, but I keep forgetting. And yeah, let me know in the comments or anything if there's anything you kind of want to explore sonically, or if you would like a little bit of a hand with anything compositionally, except for drum programming, which, as you can see, is a bit of a slow area for me. So, you know, there's always areas you can improve on. Every day is a school day, right? And yeah, see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, share, comment, you know, whatever you're feeling. See you later.